My 27 male marriage is in a really bad spot after a deep breach of trust. I don't know how to recover or how to trust my wife, 30 female, again. For some context, we've been together 7 years and married 5. We have a child, toddler. We met at a conference. I thought her cosplay was amazing, struck up a conversation, and the rest is history. She's the most loving, unselfish, and decent person I've ever met. Our relationship was never without its challenges. Our biggest obstacle was her family. My presence was unwelcome. They're very close-knit, and if one doesn't accept you, then you're not getting far. There are a few family members who broke away from the pack, but no one hardly acknowledges them. They're no contact and black sheep. I didn't know how my wife's family was, but I did know family was extremely important to her. Her whole upbringing was based on family, so I tried everything in my power to make it work. They didn't really put up with me until our son. Between our wedding planning to shortly before the wedding, I was the target of some relentless and vicious cyberbullying. It got personal. Fake bad reviews polluted my business profile too. It cost me some potential clients. I didn't know where it came from or why. I couldn't find a solution. I'd report, but it'd take a while for anything to be done, or there'd be more accounts coming out for another round. The whole thing impacted my life and my mental health. It took a toll. My wife was incredibly supportive. She was my rock and my best friend. I loved her even more for her care and how she held me down. Then the trolling and everything stopped. I wanted nothing more than to move on. I put it all behind me, until the other day my wife confessed that her family was behind the harassment. I didn't believe her at first, but she was serious and showed me proof in their family group chat. It felt like I was right back there again. They were gloating and justifying themselves, saying stuff like, some people gotta learn the hard way, and if he wants to join the fold, here's his initiation. I knew I wasn't their favorite person, but I never realized they hated me and would go to such extremes. I asked my wife, when did she find out, and if she was a part of it. She swore she wasn't, and that she'd never do that to me. She claims she didn't initially know it was her family until a few months before our wedding. One of my sister-in-laws, 28 female, left a profile up on her phone, and my wife saw it. She confronted her family and made them stop. I asked why she was telling me everything now. She said it was weighing on her, and she opened up to her eldest sister, 35 female, one of the family's black sheep. She threatened to tell me the truth if my wife didn't. Nothing my wife said made it better. She knew for years what her family did and hid it from me. She kept everything quiet. It hurts more coming from her because she knew firsthand my pain. I was pretty numb. My wife was anxious and kept pushing for me to say something. I told her there wasn't anything she could say right now that would make it okay. What she did was no better than her family. They made my life hell, and her first instinct was to cover for them. She started crying and begged me to understand. She said it wasn't like that, and she was trying to make things right, with as little damage as possible and mend relationships. I wasn't very receptive to her. She wasn't reaching me. I couldn't help her or myself. I told her I needed some time to clear my head. She was against it. She said we could work through this together, but I was firm on space. Space isn't a request she's respected. I'm really trying to understand her side. I'm trying to move past it, but I feel so betrayed. I trusted her more than anyone. I'm my most vulnerable with her. I kept opening up to her about the incident even after she knew the truth. She encouraged me to let it go and not allow it to have any claim on me. I thought she had my best interest in mind. Now I just see it as her attempt to protect her family yet again. I haven't confronted anyone involved. I don't think they're worth it. But I've made it clear they're no longer allowed to see our son until further notice. Now I'm getting texts about how I'm depriving my child of grandparents and aunts over past family spats. One of the hardest parts is the distance from my wife. She's my best friend and partner in every way. Now we're mostly only communicating about our son and other household necessities. She's hurt by my rejection, and she's been crying often. I don't know if I'm being unfair to her. I hate all of this. I want to make our marriage work, but I'm questioning our relationship up to now. I'm just really lost. I need an outside perspective. How do I navigate this situation and move forward for my marriage and myself? Top comment reads, I think what is bothering me most is that your wife is still not getting it. She doesn't understand how vile her family is, and if they did it once, they could do it again. They took your money, your peace of mind, your confidence. Even though she stopped it, she never told you, leaving you to wonder why and who. And past family spats? It's not like this was a little tiff and they apologized and you won't let it go. I'd suggest therapy for you both, and I don't even know. At the very least, you'll learn how to co-parent together if you can't save the marriage. Maybe a therapist can get her to see how huge this is. OP replied, I don't know, it's like my wife's not getting where I'm coming from or just doesn't want to go there. Her family never even apologized. They're making it out like I'm holding grudges. Commenter replied, also realize she didn't tell you because she wanted to. She only told you because someone else threatened to tell you and she wanted to control exactly what was said. If I were you, I'd want to speak to the other person who knew, i.e. the black sheep. It's such a huge breach of trust. She aided her relatives in trying to destroy your livelihood and self-worth. I can't see any reason why you'd want to remain married to someone who clearly doesn't value you or really love you and has demonstrated she loves and places her family above you. Another response to OP. Your wife is fully aware her family are a bunch of bullies, and she is a passive enabler of their horrible behavior. Your child has a pretty high chance of growing up to be just like them. Is that what you want? The constant waterworks are a classic manipulation tactic. If she were truly sorry, she would be offering solutions, the main one being going no contact with her family. They are the way they are because they're assholes, and because they haven't faced any consequences for their actions. Your wife wants to let bygones be bygones because the current situation affects her. She didn't give a single crap about your feelings then, and she doesn't now. Another comment. So her idea of making things right is to lie to you for years, providing cover for the awful, awful people who did this to you. Any decent partner would cut that family off without a backward glance. I am so sorry, OP, you must be reeling. OP replied. She said she thought she was protecting me and that she handled the situation with her family. I just don't see anything she did as for my benefit. I see it more as she was protecting her family yet again before anything else. Further comment, I think the only way forward is marriage counseling. Your child is never around her family except the black sheep folks, and you and your wife go low or no contact with the offending family members. Maybe move somewhere new to get away from them. Offer the wife those terms or divorce. She can pick your family, you and your son, or her birth family, the offending members. But she's not going to get to keep both. This is a major betrayal. She needs to pick your side, or y'all can divorce. Maybe move close to your family. You're young, you can recover from this if you have to divorce. As an aside, make sure to gather evidence of the chats in case you need them in court, either family law or a civil lawsuit for damages for the damage to your business. Next story. A bit over a year and a half ago, me and my husband gave birth to our son. It was our first kid, and we were incredibly nervous and scared we were going to screw things up. The first week with him back, where horrid he cried all the time, and it was ridiculously exhausting, but I'd be lying if I said we didn't know what we were getting into. At the start, my husband's best friend was amazing. She would come around all the time, bring us food, spend time with our son, babysitting, so we could some time away and really appreciated the help, and she seemed to genuinely love my son. When my maternity leave was finished, and I went back to work, she offered even more of her time to help with babysitting. Instead of me hiring someone, I said that I couldn't make her do that, and she surely had other things due, and she said it was fine, she works from home on her online business anyway, and she even refused pay. And honestly, I didn't mind any of the help until now. I recently noticed on our doorbell that she had been coming in at night while I was doing occasional night shifts. I thought it was strange, but free help, so I never confronted it as weird as I felt it was. But yesterday when I came home from a shift and found my son playing with her, and found that he kept referring to her as mama, I think something kinda broke inside of me, and I told her to get out. She protested and asked what's wrong, and I just asked her to leave and to not come here again, and she accused me of being jealous, and that I was scared I was being replaced. She pointed out that if I was a more involved parent, my husband and son wouldn't need a second wife, and I screamed at her, told her if she knows what's good for her, she should get out. She finally did. My husband came home a bit after, and I told him about, and he just shrugged and didn't say anything. But my mother-in-law called and had a go at me, basically repeating her talking points and saying that I needed to apologize. And honestly, I'm at a lost cause at this point. I feel really bad and felt like went too far. AITA, edit. My mother-in-law just called my husband to set me straight and to allow my husband's BSF to be allowed in the house to see her grandson, and that I need to get used to the fact that my son sees someone else as a mum, at this point, she practically is a second wife, especially considering I'm working. And honestly, F her and F all of you in the comments who think I'm a crap mother for bloody working. Comments asking for info. Ask 1. So I was going to go with ESH, but I can't. Your feelings are valid, but you shouldn't fire someone because you're feeling slighted. The fact your child likes their caregiver is a good thing. However, what she said to you was cruel and out of line. You can't help having to work, and saying your husband needs a second wife is a deal breaker. I would find someone you can pay to care for your child. Your NTA, and I'm wondering if you were noticing more than just your child calling her mama and her coming in your house during the middle of the night. OP replied, I didn't fire her, she doesn't get paid and she does it as a favor, I guess. She doesn't even seem to get my permission half the time. Actually thinking about it, how the fuck does she get into my house? Ask 2, NTTA. You have bigger problems than whether you're an AH. She lets herself in, so she has a key, at nighttime while you're not there, and hangs out with your husband and baby all the time, WTF, and sees herself as second wife, so she's sleeping with him? OP replied, 4 people have a key to our house, me and my husband, obviously, and both of our sets of parents, I have no clue how she gets in. Top comment. She called herself your husband's second wife, and your husband just shrugged? Really? Major red flags. OP did not mind her business and let this situation get away from her. We're focusing on the friend. Fair. What's OP's justification for her child calling this woman mama? It speaks a lot about how OP turns up for her kid. OP edit Tosh comment. Well, I did speak to him again about it all, and he said he will change the locks, and we won't make any copies of keys for anyone, just one more for emergencies. I don't know why everyone is trying to make it out like he's cheating on me. What's your thoughts on these stories? If you got to this point, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you on the next one.